Hello my lovelies and welcome back. Today we're gonna play with a full face of makeup that I have never tried before. Younique. And before I get any weird comments, I'm gonna stop you right there. I am not affiliated with them. I am only trying this makeup because so many of you are curious if it's any good. Let's just jump right into it. First step, starting with eyeshadow and their eyeshadow primer. This is their Moodstruck eye primer. Let's see what kind of primer this is. Okay, it has a little bit of a tint to it. Yep, feels very silicone-y, domestic-y, that type of feeling, you know? Okay, looks like it's set. For the eyeshadow palette, we're doing the Moodstruck Addiction palette. We'll see what happens. Let's just swatch a couple. Swatch this gold shade right here called Lofty. Swatching really nice. It feels very creamy. Let me swatch this purple because I want to work with this one. I kind of want to do like a smoked winged outliner. Okay, it's not like the best swatches. Let me just swatch this one right here, this pink shade. Okay, so far the only shade I like is Lofty. Let's start off with this shade right here. This is shade Impressive. Oh yeah, look at that. Just gonna bring that up into the crease a little bit. Yeah, this primer is nice underneath this because it's nice and tacky. The shadow just sticks right on. And good thing I did my eyeshadow first because there's quite a bit of fallout. Okay, without taking any more, I'm just gonna keep blending this. And we're gonna go in with this shade Enthralled. Is that what it is? Yes, Enthralled. This like matte, a little bit more of like a cooler toned brown. Very gently start working that into the crease. Just kind of smoking it out right here in the outer corners. I kind of want to go with the gold right in the inner corner right here. I think that's really pretty. I want to take more of like a fluffier crease brush and I want to go in with that matte shade again, Enthralled, that brown shade, and just kind of sweep over everything at the top. Let's go in with their eyeliner. I picked up their Moodstruck Precision Pencil in shade Proper. I'm going to not be super precise. Okay, this is a creamy pencil, but it's kind of tugging. And it's not as opaque as I would want it to be. This is kind of like my layout that we have drawn on here. I'm gonna take a small little smudger brush, like either an angled, I think I'm gonna start with an angled brush first. And we're gonna start with this shade right here, their purple matte shade called Blazing. And start layering on top of that. I'm gonna start kind of smudging it out. For mascara, this is their Moodstruck Epic Twisted Mascara. Why is this so tiny? It's gonna take me like an hour to put my mascara on. No, is this for like the bottom lash line? Oh, okay. So they have this, and then they have this big one. That's more like it, okay. There we go. So that was for the bottom lash line probably. I'm not the biggest fan of super stiff bristles. I wish I had a little bit more give to it because when they're so stiff, it can kind of get stuck on your lashes. You can poke yourself, and that's when all sorts of disasters happen. Mascara seems like it's pretty dark. The formula seems a little bit dry, so we'll see how this is going to wear. I wonder if it's gonna flake. I feel like I'm doing so much and I'm not getting the results. Starting with the face, I have their Touch Glorious Hydrating Face Primer. Feels like a serum. It feels very oily. You can even see it on my hands, just like very slick feeling. For the foundation, this is what I've been really intrigued to try because so many of you have been saying this is one of your favorite foundations. This is their Touch Spray Foundation. I got two shades, Lace and Scarlet. They recommend to use it with a brush, so I'm just gonna use one of mine. That looks dark. Oh, maybe not. That seems very light actually. So far the coverage is really good. A little light for my skin. I mean, that's like straight up yellow. No bueno on the shade match. Lace is not my shade, so we're gonna stick with Scarlet. As soon as you apply it to your face, it feels very cold and wet, but then it just kind of dries down. I just don't like how messy this is. Like it's going all over my hands. The nozzle is not very focused. It's kind of just flooding. I'm just trying to see how well this layers. I don't need this much coverage. I'm just curious. I thought this foundation would set, but it's really still tacky. And my hair keeps getting stuck to it, which I don't like. So I did get a setting powder, which I'm definitely going to have to use with this. Okay, let's move on from that to the eyebrows, and I picked up their, what is this called? Moonstruck Precision Brow Liner in Light. They have a spoolie on one side and then a pencil on the other. It's creamy, but a good stiffness where you can be more precise with it. Wow, this looks really red in my eyebrows. Orange almost. Let's go into concealer. I got their Touch Skin Solution Concealer, 2 shades, Scarlet and Lace. So we're definitely not using lace. Let's go with Scarlet. Let's try their tiny little sponge for this. Wow, it's not soft at all. Ooh, this color is not good. That's another thing. They didn't have a very helpful system of how to choose your colors at all. Wow, this concealer set quick. Oh my goodness, I didn't think it was gonna be this quick. I'm gonna use a tiny little wand mascara. They didn't have a bronzer, so I got their Sculpting Trio, and I'm only gonna use the sculpting portion of this, and I believe this is cream, and this is in light. I'm not really a fan of this. It's not blending out as good as I thought it would. The color is not bad. The color I think is pretty good. It has a little bit of a red undertone, but it's not bad. It's not super red. Okay, like I did say, I am going to set my foundation. Behold, translucent setting powder. Just a nice, simple, translucent powder. And then for blush, I'm using their Moonstruck Pressed Blusher in shade Sweet. And it definitely didn't look that intense online. It looked a lot more muted. All right, before I move on to lips, I am going to use their Behold Setting Spray. Wow, that's aggressive. Nope. Last but not least, lips. We're gonna go with this shade right here called Successful. Packaging is quite nice. It's like a nice doe foot applicator. Kind of has like a moussey texture. And then for the center, I'm gonna take Subtle. And I'm complete. I'm really liking the vibe. Everything kind of worked together. I think my green eyes are really popping now. All just kind of vibes together, especially for the fall and winter months. So let's begin with the products, kind of do a quick rundown of what I think, what I like, what I don't like, the pricing, all of that. So the first one is the eyeshadow primer. This is $24. So this is competing against Urban Decay, NARS, Too Faced, Marc Jacobs, things like that. I would recommend something like e.l.f., something like Milani, NYX. This performs at that level. Moving on to this palette right here, $49. Y'all, $49 palette that performs at like a $10 to $15 price range. e.l.f. eyeshadow palettes are incredible. L'Oreal, there's so many good ones. Flower Beauty, that this is what it performs at. I kind of was comparing it to, I was telling Andrea, to the Honest Beauty eyeshadow palette, and that one is $19.99. But that one had a lot more pigment, and this one, the matte shades, they're like that stiff shade. They're not very creamy. It was not like super incredible, especially for $49. There are better palettes on the market, like the ones I suggested, that this kind of was performing the level at those palettes, I guess. Next, what did we do? We used eyeliner. It wasn't super creamy. It wasn't really opaque. It was really skipping. There are so many great eyeliners on the market for under $5. And this just didn't really stick out to me that, you know, you really need to rush out and get it. And this eyeliner costs $24. Wow. No, it's $15. Eyeliner is $15. Moving on, we had mascara. This is the one that kind of got me when I looked at the price. This mascara costs $27. This is the same price as one of my favorites by Marc Jacobs, and Marc Jacobs is a luxury brand in my opinion. This mascara, I think the only thing that going for it is it also has the tiny little wand for your lower lash line. That's the only thing going for it. I feel like there's so many better mascaras on the market from some like CoverGirl, L'Oreal, Revlon. There's so many good mascaras at the drugstore, or go for Marc Jacobs for $27. Next, moving forward, we did foundation. No, we did this right here, the Touch Hydrating Face Primer. This retails for $34. This formula is really interesting. Like I said, at first it looked and felt like a serum, but then once you started applying to your face, it felt like a really kind of slimy, oily residue on the face. maybe that's what was not helping the foundation set and stick to the face. So I'm definitely not a fan of this formula for my face. I feel like it was a little too slippery. It didn't really have a hold or tackiness to it. That what I really look for in a primer is some kind of tackiness so the foundation kind of stick to it, just like the primer for the eyeshadow. Next we have the spray foundation, and I believe I said what was like $42? $42 for foundation. I mean, this is already high-end luxury prices. This foundation, I think it has pretty good coverage right away. As you can see, it just evened out everything. But because it was not really settling into place and it was kind of just like smearing around, and I can still feel it, and I can feel it up here, and I didn't apply primer up here. So I'm pretty sure that's the foundation. It kind of has that like more of like a tacky, slippery feel, and it does look a little heavy right here around the smile lines, the crease, every kind of like line or crease, it looks kind of heavy. I did apply extra to my cheeks to see how much I can layer and see if it starts looking cakey and heavy, and you can definitely see it like right here. Overall, I think the foundation so far is the best thing that I've tried out of everything so far, and this was the one thing that I was really looking forward to try it out, because so many people have been raving about this foundation, and it's actually pretty good, but definitely not $42. I think this is like a good $18, $19 foundation. Moving on, we had concealer. This concealer is set really quick. It was very, I would say, high coverage, and I don't like that it's set really quick because you didn't really have as much playing time, and it definitely reminded me of something like the Tarte. It's very kind of thick, but lightweight at the same time, and it kind of settles really quick, so you kind of have to work with it pretty fast. It's looking pretty good, but it's looking a little heavy underneath the eyes. Moving on, Sculpting Trio. This costs $49.
Wow.
Nope, not worth it in my opinion. I only tried the contour, which, like I said, the reason why I even bought this was because they don't have a bronzer. So this right here, as much as I could blend it out, I think the color is pretty good on my face, but definitely not for $49. And then for this Touch Behold Translucent Setting Powder, this right here retails for $39. No, I can't sit here and recommend this for $39 because, again, there's so many good ones at the drugstore that are just very simple, straight to the point, translucent powder under 10 bucks. Moving on to the blush, this is their pressed blusher in Sweet. I actually thought this blush was really beautiful. The shade is a little off from what I looked online, but the way it blended, I think it blended really nicely, even though it looks like I don't even have any blush on. Do I have blush on my face?
A little bit.
A little bit. e.l.f. has a much better formula in my opinion, but it's a good blush. So the eyebrow pencil, I kind of skipped that one just because I didn't like it at all. It's $19. Again, I'm gonna keep comparing it to like e.l.f., L'Oreal. I mean, there's some really great eyebrow pencils on the market with great shade range, so I'm gonna skip on that pencil. And then last but not least, second to last but not least, we have the lips. Honestly, I really enjoyed these. I put a little bit of the lip balm underneath. I think the applicator is beautiful. It's kind of stiff and sharp on the edge, so you can really be precise around your lips. I mean, we're gonna go eat lunch, and I'm going to reapply this and see without the lip balm and see if it's gonna be really drying. But so far, I'm really liking the lipsticks. And then last but not least, we have the setting spray. I think this was a huge fail. Look at that. It's so oily. Just touching it is so oily, and the spray itself is so aggressive. Look at that. I do like the smell though. You guys, this is just the first impression. I am gonna wear this throughout the day, but because these prices are so expensive, and we all know why they're, marked up, is because everybody needs to get paid. But this is definitely not performing at the price range that I purchased this at. This is definitely, I say, $20 and below. This just shows you that you can find incredible products at the drugstore, especially nowadays. So many brands are coming out with really high quality products that perform at higher level, but the price tag is a lot lower. I'm gonna leave it there for now. We're gonna go with our day. I'll do probably one check-in and then the final check-in at the end of the night, just to see how everything is wearing. We're doing the one and only check-in today because it was a busy day at the house. But as you can see on my face, it's a hot mess. It's an oily mess. I did not touch my face throughout the day, like touch up. I didn't touch up my lipstick once. We just had dinner and I had pizza. And honestly, most of it came off, but the way it came off, it's not bad. Like the lipstick, like the lips still look pretty good. Eyeshadow, eyeliner still looks honestly pretty much the same. Mascara is smudging, raccoon eyes, and it's flaking. The foundation, the powder, the concealer, it does not look good at all. And I have a pimple right here. I had a pimple before this, but it's just like aggravating my pimple, all of this like makeup sitting on top. So I can't wait to take this off and put this sticker patch. I can still see my blush a little bit, bronzer, contour a little bit, but not really impressed with the foundation or the concealer. Just the way it's wearing, the way it creased, the way it's looking at my face is just so slick, and it's just like moving around. Even though I set it with the powder, I'm not really impressed with this makeup, especially for the price, you know? I'm gonna say for the eyeshadow and eyeliner, like you guys can see a pigment, especially for the beautiful sheen textured eyeshadow, the glitter eyeshadow. I think it did beautiful with on top of the eyeshadow primer. But again, you can find something similar to this in a much lower price range, and it will wear beautifully throughout the day as well. But yeah, I'm gonna leave my thoughts here. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you go out and try Younique makeup just because A, it's not readily available, B, it's very expensive for the quality, and then C, you can just find better products already out there that are readily available and that have a lot more options. Those are kind of my concerns, I guess. And yeah, I do want to ask if you have tried Younique makeup before. What is your favorite product? Why do you enjoy it? And why do you enjoy it more than, let's say, something that you can find at the drugstore or like Sephora, Ulta, Nordstrom, Target, those types of stores? But for now, you guys, thank you for watching, spending time with me, and I'll see you in the next one very soon. Bye.